Good morning. Okie dokie. Check out my mug. Zen. I've got that for me. Personal thoughts. I always had that thought, that personal thoughts. How could a thought be anything other than personal, really? It's like a redundancy, or it's one of those, like preheating the oven. It doesn't make sense, or it's redundant. There is no thought that's not personal, I guess. I don't have any public thoughts. Well, I do now. And they're on YouTube, free for a live viewing audience. Words, I've been thinking about words and how words and stories, uh, they can be great tools or they can be great stumbling blocks because we get set on our ideas and words and we we find a little nugget of truth and we say, aha, this is true. I'm going to put this in my truth bank. And, I will rely on this as a true axiom, as a true statement. But the problem with words and statements is that they're all um, relative to a situation. What's the word I'm looking for? Everything is not relative. I guess it's relative. I don't know. It's all relative. How it relates to the present moment. So, which is dynamic, ongoing, never ending. So as soon as you find a group of words that you think has, you know, um, explained something or given you some sort of answer that you can rely on, great. It's good. Don't throw it away, but don't stand on it completely. I remember reading a book about, how we have our values and our beliefs, and you have like the legs are the legs are the values, and the tables, but they use like these different analogies, and I think all those things can be helpful. Um, it's not necessarily a good thing to be just lost in the world of la la like me. I mean, I have a system. I have beliefs, I have values, but I realize that beliefs and the words and the stories we tell ourselves are not necessarily reliable. I didn't open up my chat yet, so if somebody's in there, I don't think anybody is. Give me 1 second. I gotta open this, mute it. Okay, it's muted. And open my chat. Another thing I was thinking about this morning is positivity versus negativity and how, we tend to promote the positive and bash the negative. Say, let's be positive, only positive thoughts. But I don't know, my philosophy is not, it's not as simple as that. There is a power in positive thinking, but we can't just wish the negative away by, you know, trying to force our own will over our mind, our emotions, or whatever. So if there is a negative, the negative must be honored and acknowledged just as much as the positive. Um, got a text. No, it's an email from Netflix. So words are important. But then I use that word, but everything, but because everything you say, anything I say, anything anybody says can be completely negated. Like somebody could just take my statement, or they can take my whole group of statements and tell me why it's all bullshit. Um, or they could turn around and say it completely better than I said it and reinforce it and make it seem rock solid. Like, yeah, what you said is just, it's truth. It's all presentation. It's a variety of factors. Um, but my point is that there's just an infinite way uh, to look at things, to describe things. There's all different perspectives, um, and we have these words that we use, and I think in our minds they're concrete things. It's like, this is a phone, you know, it's an ugly beat up phone, but the phone is just a word. It really doesn't describe the all the functions of the phone. It's a very complex device. All the implications that it has for society. I mean, you could just go on and on and on about this phone and never completely fully capture the essence and what it means to an individual in our society today. um, but we think we got it covered just by saying phone or cell phone or iPhone or whatever. So words are powerful. We use them to create our reality. But it's also they're also like describing concepts and things that are not real or tangible. I mean, what words come along with so many assumptions. Something else I'm constantly doing is I'm asking why. Why? Why am I doing this? Why am I here talking to my laptop? I don't know. I mean, I have my reasons that I tell myself, but should I believe those reasons? Should I trust myself? And if I don't trust myself, should I trust my mistrust of myself? And the answer, I believe, is yes. I should just trust myself. Because, because, I don't know why. The minute you think you know something, it's that moment, that aha moment. It's like, aha, I've got it. And you may have it, and you've got this answer, and I want to tell people. And then it all starts crumbling down, and you're like, where did it go? I just had something. But I'm starting to realize it's not about having something, it's about letting go of what you think you know and just being. Um, I'm going to read the Tao Te Ching. I think that's how you say it. I gotta look it up because I've been listening to Alan Watts, and I found this guy uh, in my Zen group. His name is Gregory. What is it? I just subbed him on YouTube. I'll try to put a link. But he talks about Zen, about Buddhism, Confucianism versus Taoism, um, and how the difference between Lao Tzu and who was the one before him, Confucius. Confucius says that we're, kind of, he viewed the human as this kind of unfinished, this kind of, unfinished work that needs that now you have to kind of take control and kind of refine yourself and grow and, kind of mold yourself into a refined human being. But Lao Tzu was more of the opposite, saying that really you have to just strip away all that conditioning that the world has been trying to put on you, everything that you've been learning, all your ideas, all your conceptions, that really the way to enlightenment is to strip away. There's nothing there that our core nature is good. That's what Lao Tzu believes. And I lean towards that just because I think that's a more uh, helpful belief system. I don't think it's helpful to think that we're all bad and now we have to work hard to be good. We have to repent. We have to shun and renounce our desires. Um, now Buddhism, gets into desires and how that causes suffering. But what I like about Taoism is there's no renouncing. Uh, there's nothing more than just stripping away everything and going back to your root self, or as this guy calls it, the what did he call it? The unrefined block. The unrefined block of wood. If you view the human being as a block of wood, Confucius says you need to carve that wood. You need to build it into something. It's like here, you come into this world as this block, as this base unit. Uh, it needs refining. It needs work. But Lao Tzu says no. Go back to the block that you started with. That's all you need. That's all you'll ever need. The idea that we have to become something more than we are, it causes anxiety. It causes unhappiness. And he also mentioned something I wasn't familiar with. He was talking about desires of the eye versus desires of the belly, and how this world is focused on desires of the eye. Um, but if you go with the belly, it's more of this deep contentment, this contentment of contentment, he calls it, and that's our natural state. But it's the society that has caused us to be in this kind of heightened anxiety and state, which basically comes from desire. And it was making a lot of sense to me because since I've been listening to Watts and um, just observing and applying these things in my life, I do feel the anxiety diminishing and the contentment growing. Uh, because when you realize that there's nothing that you have to do, that's when you feel good, right? If you don't have to go to work, the kids are all taken care of. When you have nothing to do, I'm not, I'm using like mundane physical examples just as an example, but when you have nothing to do, you feel free, you feel light, you don't feel burdened down. But we feel burdened down by this world because the world tells us no. You've got to work, you've got to improve yourself so you can acquire these things. You need a nice car, you need a nice house. You got to build a family, relationship, all that. It puts that on people. Not saying that with those things will come, and I don't think there's anything wrong with having a house and a car and a family. But none of it's necessary to be happy, to be content. Really, all that's necessary to be happy and content is the desire to be contentment, to be content. That's where I think really true happiness comes from, is wanting to be happy and deciding to be happy. But I still feel, I don't know, I'm still human. I don't think I'm an enlightened being. I still feel things, still feel anxiety, um, and I still feel desires. I still have goals. Like I want things for myself, for my family. But at this time, you know, I'm looking at my life, and this could be at any point. I mean, this could be it. This could be my peak, you know? I'm 40. I say I'm 40. I'm actually 41. I don't see any reason to add to that. But uh, I got my young kids. I'm still, my body still works. Um, this could be it. This could be like this could be the peak, the highlight of my life. I feel like it is. I mean, I feel good. I feel happy. Of course, the human side always wants more. I want my own private island and uh, all that. It goes with it. But this may be it. I may be at the most fun part of the ride. Or it's like if you're watching a movie and you're at the climax, you're at all the, everything's coming together and everybody's on the edge of the seat, but they're like looking around like, when is this thing going to get interesting? This is the movie we're in. Might as well just roll with it, just go with it. And I think that's society, that's programming. Television. It's killed us. It's killed our contentment, our joy, our peace, which is a natural state of just that's the natural state that we're in. But humans copy each other. We're a societal animal, so we are very easily led and misled. So we've had a society telling us, you need this, you want this. This is what true happiness looks like. This is what true meaning looks like. You want to have a fulfilled, meaningful life, don't you? But the problem is you'll miss it if you're chasing instead of just enjoying and having an attitude of gratitude. I think gratitude really, if gratitude solves a lot of things, even if you don't understand at first, if you just say thank you for everything that comes along, say thank you. You might be confused. Why am I thankful for getting a flat tire on the interstate? Because it is. It happened. It's part of life. You have to love the whole experience. You don't have to, but you do, whether you realize it or not. You may say you hate it, but you know you love it. Anyways, one day could be today. I'm trying to form a new thought. Kind of hit a wall of blankness. Um, what was that guy's name? Gregory. I'm gonna look it up because I'm like, want to know what that guy's name was. His name is Great. It's like two first names. Two first names, I think. Really been enjoying this Zen group on Facebook. It's got like 20,000 members, but surprisingly, not that many posts. I mean, like when somebody posts, nobody comments, or very few people do. But that's Zen for you. Kind of silent. I think the modern Buddhism and Zen community are. I don't know. My impression is that they're kind of just quiet and a little bit boring. I don't think there's anything wrong with talking. They're all about silence, though. Silence, silence. I do need to learn silence. Looking for that post from that guy. Something Gregory. Something Gregory. Anyways, what do you want to talk about now? Kind of miss my old channel. I had subscribers. I'm almost at 2,000 on my other channel. Really doesn't mean much though, because if I post a video, it only gets like 10 or 15 views. So it's more like courtesy subscriptions. Here, I found my Zen page. Baby has slept the whole night. She should be waking up soon. Jason Gregory. That's it. You search Jason Gregory on YouTube. That's the dude's name. British guy too. He could be the new Alan Watts. And so far, I agree with them. But then again, then when you start talking about these things, when you start, like Alan Watts starts off his Zen lecture, he says, a lecture on Zen is always somewhat of a hoax. And then there's that saying, those who know do not say, and those who say do not know. So why is he saying? Why am I saying? He says he just enjoys speaking, and I believe that's the case. Is that the case with me or anybody else that talks about these things? Because the why is important. It's important. Why am I talking about this? Am I trying to help? Am I trying to change things? Or am I just being me? Or is it both? I do not know. All I do know is that I'm drawn to these topics. I've always been a thinker, a philosopher. I enjoy conversations. I actually enjoy debating. I enjoy a friendly debate, an argument, without insults. I can handle the insults, I mean, I'll still engage people. I'll engage trolls just because I like that. I like that back and forth, that point, counterpoint, and arguing aside. And I argue not to prove I'm right, but just to continue that back and forth and to discover if I am right or if I'm wrong. A lot of times it takes that to discover what's true until you have that point, counterpoint, point, counterpoint, point, counterpoint, and then finally game. I think there's a lot of value in debating, in discussing, in choosing a side, but it seems like the internet is either, you don't have a lot of that. It's either you agree, so let me praise you and tell you, yes, I agree. You're so wonderful and right. Or no, I disagree. You're a horrible person and I hate you. You moron, you idiot. I mean, that seems like those are the two, responses that are seen on YouTube, comments, Facebook, social media, whatever. Either, as I call it, it's either like ass licking, to be crude. It's like just people with their noses in each other's butts, like, oh yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, with being uplifting and positive, and I just feel like it doesn't add anything to discussion. It doesn't lead anywhere else. It doesn't further it. So when somebody says something, my natural response is to maybe find a hole in it, or maybe add to it somehow, like a yes but also, or no because this, or um but you just can't do that without being attacked. I think the trolls have infected the society, and so people have become hypersensitive to that kind of thing. Like if there's somebody with a different opinion, it's like, oh, you're disagreeing with me. Automatically, they're in defense mode and they feel like they're being attacked personally. Which I never feel like I'm being attacked personally. And here's a key why. Because nobody knows me, and I don't even know myself, and I don't even really exist. So when somebody starts attacking me, it's laughable because there is no me. And what they think is me is not even close. I may be a little closer. I don't know. But the point is, there is no me. There is no me to attack. You are attacked. So basically, when you launch an attack against someone that you've never met, never spoken to, for one statement they've made, and now that qualifies you to, insult and attack them and make all kinds of assumptions about the kind of person they are. It's like, well, if you think that, you must be an absolute moron and a complete asshole. But I don't take offense. I don't. I do not. It does not hurt my feelings. Yeah, I've got what's the word? Soft spots. Like anybody else, I'm human. You want to get to me? If you make it your life mission to get to me, you probably will. I'm a little tougher than most, but you'll get there. You want to see me crack? You want to see me lose it? I can lose it. Good. I don't think so, though. I think it would be funny. I think it's funny when people lose it. We should all lose it, because that's the key to enlightenment. It's not gaining anything, it's getting rid of, losing yourself, your ego. But why do we use that expression, lose it? We use it like a bad thing. It's like, oh, he lost it. It's like they lost their cool, they lost their composure, when really what's happened is the ego has completely taken over. So, in a sense, they've lost their true self, and their fake self is just completely just taken over. I don't know. That's a theory. Zen. That word. My coffee mug. I love Zen. I love life. And I love all the people in the world. Maybe not all of them. But there's really nothing to say. There's nothing to do. But we do it anyway. And that's the whole of existence. A lot of people can start studying these philosophies and then kind of get the impression, well, I guess I should do nothing. And a lot of, there's a lot of sex in, you know, well, like in modern day Japan, basically Zen is, it's Zazen. It's just sitting and meditating. That's not my kind of Zen. Not that that doesn't have value. To some people, I know that it does. But for me, it's more of a philosophy. It's a way of life that enriches life, that allows me to do things, allows me to interact, uh, to just engage fully in this life, in this drama, without being so attached to it as some serious thing. So it's because nothing matters, we can do everything. I don't know if that's a good way of saying that. And ultimately, what happens is when people start explaining these things, an enlightened person, you know, decides to start sharing these concepts and ideas. They feel like they found something. Now you want to share it. It's like, oh, I found like, if you're walking in the woods and you find this beautiful place, just a natural beauty, maybe a waterfall and a little clearing and a pool or something and some rocks. It's like, wow, first you're going to go there and you're going to just sit and enjoy, but eventually you might say, I want to share this. So when we find something we like to share it. So I forgot where I was going with that. Um, oh yeah. So we start talking, and about these concepts, about letting go of ego, about Wu Wei, just going with the flow of um, of accepting things that happen, of accepting yourself, accepting others. Um, but really, there's nothing in Zen about morality. But inevitably, if people start following, say, a person, it's like, well, these people are looking to you, and you're teaching them these things, and they can take it any way they want, and they can do good things or they can do bad things. And so what happens is that the person, the master, the teacher, whoever ends up saying, well, well, what does it all mean? Well, just be good, just be good, don't hurt people. But that's not Zen, really. It's not Zen at all. I mean, I believe in those things. I think that's just human nature. If you get down to your raw nature, you will see you don't want to hurt people. And you don't have to tell people don't hurt people because that's already in us. All that needs to be done is to strip away. There needs to be no condemnation, no renunciation. Just strip away, strip away, strip away. And when teachers start telling people just be good, it's just like a cop out. It's like they've gone from on the verge of sharing something beautiful to just you know this old worn out message of do good, of be kind, you know. And again, I'm not bashing that being kind by any means. Be kind, but you don't need me to tell you that. You know it. You will feel the result. If you are kind, you will feel that come back to you. You will feel the effects of that energetically, immediately. Immediately, instantaneously, you feel whatever you put out into the universe. And the whole point is you don't need a religion, you don't need a philosophy to tell you to be good and tell you what's right and wrong. Nevertheless, teachers and religious leaders are pressured into it's like, well, you've got to tell, just tell these people, be good, please, because some of them are missing the message. And. So, I mean, it's easy to take these things as just do what you want, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you hurt people. And that's what some people might take from Zen. It's not what I take. So I understand, it's difficult though. You constantly have to remind yourself, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you talking? It's like, well, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to make it better. It's always going to be that you're trying to make something better. Always trying to make something. I'm just trying to help and make it better, right? Right? No, you're not making it better. Don't make it better. Do what you want. Do, and you're lying to yourself also if you think you're trying to make it better, because you're not. You're trying, you're doing what all of us, the only thing any of us can do, which is be you and do what you want. That's all you can do, is do what you want to do. But what you really want to do, and I think that's what this guy Jason Gregory was talking about: belly of the eye versus, desires of the eye versus desires of the belly. Which I'm not sure, but I think he means like the desires of the belly are more rooted in what you really want. Like if you really look deep inside, um, which what you really want is to not want. That's the desire of the belly. Is no desire is contentment. You want to be content. You want to be anxiety free, stress free. And most people can agree with that. Like, yeah, yeah, I don't want stress. I don't want anxiety. I want to feel good. I mean, that is the basic operandi of life. We want to feel good. And so we chase things that we think will make us feel good. That's another expression I have a problem with. Whatever makes you happy, or this made me this way, or this made me that way. Nothing makes you happy. Nothing makes you angry. You become angry. You become happy. Why? It's always why. Why are we chasing? And the chasing, we chase things that we think will make us happy. But it is the very act of chasing sometimes that causes the unhappiness, unless you see it for what it is. And then you may enjoy it. Then the chasing becomes jogging when you don't have to have it, when you realize you already have it. You already have what you need. And what you want is to realize that you don't need anything. But collectively, as a society, we are fooled, we are brainwashed basically into believing that happiness is something that comes from achieving. And a lot of people will replace it with higher, loftier goals. Like, okay, well, yeah, happiness doesn't come from a car or a house. It comes from attaining a spiritual state of enlightenment. And really, that's just the same chase. It's just this. You've raised the standards. It's like, but you're still chasing. First, you chase cars and money, and then you chase happiness, which leads you to religions and philosophies, but you're still chasing. It's still all the same. The pursuit of happiness, which is the worst phrase, life, life and liberty fine, and the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness will ensure that happiness will never come, because happiness is not something to be pursued. Sun's coming up. Gonna give the kids cereal this morning. A lot easier than French toast. Oh. Yeah. I've been thinking about this channel, and sometimes I get bummed. It's like I don't have any subscribers. I don't have any viewers, but then I think I got one right now. I asked myself, why am I doing this? Is it for more views? Subscribers? And part of me wants that attention, but I really feel like it's not. That I'm doing this as an experiment. It's it's a miniature version of life. It's for fun. I think life is for fun, and this is for fun. This is for my enjoyment. Um, and of course, yeah, I will enjoy it more, I believe, if more people are here. But I don't know necessarily. Maybe not. I might miss this part. I might say, you know what? I miss just talking to my laptop and being able to get my thoughts out of my head without uh, without being led by an audience. Because I feel like inevitably, what YouTubers will get, they'll find their audience, and then they will be led by their audience. I think YouTube even has some like tutorials and stuff on this. I mean, if you want to keep an audience, you kind of have to be in tune with them and what they want to hear and what kind of topics they want to discuss. So, I'm just going to enjoy me talking. I like talking. There's no point counterpoint. Well, except for myself. See, I just did the point and the counterpoint all on my own. So I'm getting good at talking to myself. I will likely continue. And I'll be honest, there's an idea in my head that one day, and I'm not even ready for this, but one day I would like to do something just something just like what I'm doing now, but maybe more replace my job basically with talking. But I don't know if I want that either. Because then something I love will become a job and work, and then maybe that will lose the I don't know, the enjoyment from it. So just be in the moment. I'm enjoying this right here with my Zen coffee cup, this corner lamp in my face, daylight growing behind me. Life is beautiful, huh? I may not say that tomorrow. One day I may open this thing up and I may have not good things to say, but probably not. Usually, when I don't have good things to say, I just don't say them. But I may have to vent sometime. My life has been easy. It's been mostly uneventful, which I'm thankful for. Like bad events, good events, plenty of. I guess it's time to get the kid up. 6:45. Everybody's late. Usually they're up by now. I think they're all still sleeping. I got to wake the older ones up too. Have a wonderful day, and hope to be back here tomorrow or sometime later, sending out love to the universe and all the creatures in it, whether you're watching or not. Peace, everyone.